Hello and good afternoon. How's it going, everybody? Okay, well, today we have a class that's on. Well, see, I was thinking it's the beginning of April. We just started, and I don't know. I know that February is Black History Month. Um, I know that March is Women's History Month. January, well, pretty much the new year, so everybody's making their resolutions and doing all that stuff. But I was like, what for April? I was like, I have no idea what month it is, like what national thing goes on for the month of April. So I decided to look it up and enlighten a little bit more about what this month's all about, which is fantastic. I wish we could do more of it because it's a huge part of what you do and who you all are. And it's because you're awesome. But there's lots of other people we need to recognize out there that are also do an amazing job in this same field. But, I do want to thank you all for what you do before I even introduce it. Just thank you for all that you do and how inspiring it is that you do this stuff that you do. So let's keep doing it. And let me tell you what it is. So for April, it is National Volunteer Month. So all of us do this. We all volunteer our time. We go out, we do Meals on Wheels. We volunteer doing lots of other things. There's Animeals. We volunteered our time at the animal shelter. Really we look for any opportunity. Those of you used to go to me with the senior center. We used to volunteer there, clean up tables. We used to help prep food before, but this was all before the pandemic and, COVID-19 and everything. And we still do some of it, but we want to get back to it. But still, since we do, I want to thank you all for doing it. And I want to let you know a little bit more about National Volunteer Month. So, April recognizes all those who give their time and energy during National Volunteer Month. Us. You, mostly. In the United States, volunteerism is instilled at a young age. It's true. Think me growing up, where in the community that I did, we were always volunteering. That was just what you do. And then, of course, you start out pretty young. And once you join, like, the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts, well, there's a lot of volunteering that goes on there. So, but I've also heard about it from lots of y'all that, been volunteering your whole life. So since, from a young age, as it says here. In many parts of the country, it is the cornerstone of summer vacation or woven into after-school programs. Most organizations in small towns, rural counties, and the largest cities would not function without volunteers. It's true. We're vital, very important. In some families, the baton of volunteerism is handed down generation after generation. And a baton is just, like in a race, like, here you go, you take it forward. You take the next leg. So, rural fire and ambulance departments remain staffed due to the effort of volunteer firefighters. The underprivileged receive much needed medical care thanks to volunteers. Long overdue, well, I guess we don't do the medical care, so never mind, sorry. Long overdue repairs and upgrades are made to a senior woman's home thanks to an organization's annual call for donations and skilled workers. And then, oh my gosh. Give me 1 sec. Some of this got cut off. Give me 1 moment, please. Okay, back to it. Sorry. For some reason, it cut out a lot of what was supposed to be printed, so my apologies. So it says, a woman answers a call on a suicide hotline because she cared enough to give up a few hours to train and listen to someone desperate and alone. Another volunteer. Just because they care. A team sets up tables at a soup kitchen every week. Another group, this is where we fall in, of course. Another group delivers meals to men and women who can no longer cook for themselves. Boys and girls sell ice cream sandwiches during a fair to raise money for a homeless shelter. All volunteer services, all wonderful. And all things that we, of course, would always be willing to do. So, volunteers come in all shapes and sizes. They pick a cause and make a difference in someone's life. Sometimes the difference is a drop in a bucket, which means it doesn't add up to a whole lot. Like I said, it's like a giant empty bucket, and one drop in there doesn't seem like a whole lot. You get a lot of drops in that bucket, it makes a difference. Other times it creates a tidal wave of change. So it does. You never know. I mean, volunteers have come through in the most desperate of times. I mean, if you look at the World Wars or like World War II, there were scrap drives or rubber drives. There were all sorts of drives that were all based on a volunteer basis to help out. There have been devastations in areas that I've been to, like where tornadoes have hit, and you go see and you see that people are out rebuilding the next day. People are out volunteering their time to help build somebody's house back up or build them a whole new house. So it's an amazing thing to see. So from the anonymous volunteers who donate their resources to those whose efforts are part of a larger national organization like the 4-H Club, which helps with cars, Boys and Girl Scouts of America, or American Red Cross, or a local grassroots group, their missions provide valuable support to communities in times of need. All right, so that's National Volunteer Month, and again, thank you for the work you do. All right, so what are some ways that we can observe or celebrate? It's more observe, I think, in this one. I mean, we should be celebrated. It would be nice. I mean, there is the luncheon that we used to do for Meals on Wheels. Hopefully that comes back one day. I did like those luncheons. I mean, the prizes, the raffles, we used to have fun. So, and the funny thing is, it would always be late because we were the people coming back from actually doing Meals on Wheels that day. And everybody else that was setting up for it was like, well, we need volunteers today so that we can set up to thank the volunteers, which is funny. So how do we observe it? First, you can thank a volunteer. So, thank you again. Next, you can volunteer. I mean, and seriously, come up with ideas. If you think of anything that you see that we really could be doing and volunteer for, that would be great. Because I don't know. Maybe the light is better. Sorry. But yeah, anything. So many volunteers will tell you it is a rewarding experience. And it is. I mean, we've met so many people. People who give you hugs even when you don't want one. Or high fives or fist bumps or all sorts. Passing out candy that we're supposed to turn down and say no. But a lot of times people are like, I'm taking that candy anyway. But we're supposed to turn it down. Because we're there to volunteer. I get tips. And we have gotten tips before too, but we usually go slip it back under the door. Say, sorry, I put it in the mailbox. Like, we can't do that. So, anyway, and that's another way to observe is to volunteer. Another way to observe is you don't have a ton of time. That seems like a weird typo. Next one is, do you have a special talent or skill that may benefit a charity or organization? Offer your services or ask how you can be of help. So yeah, if there's anything you're particularly good at, maybe there's a church near you or a senior center or something. Maybe you're really good at, we do recycling, so maybe we're good at recycling. We say, hey, we're willing to sort through your recycling, help you out that way. There's lots of different ways you can help and volunteer. And lastly, you can use hashtag National Volunteer Month, all one word, to share on social media. Yeah, so I don't know if we need to do all that. I'm of the mind that, when you volunteer or when you do something nice for others, it's best to just have done it and be like, no, that's what we're supposed to be doing. So that's what we did. I don't need credit for it. I just want to have done it and be happy that I did. But that's me. If you want to share some stuff, go for it. I mean, some people really, and actually, I guess if you do share it on that website, you can say, hey, they need more volunteers here and here and here. Like, we volunteer our time, but they could always use more. So maybe it's not such a bad idea. Me, I just kind of like to say low key. Okay, so National Volunteer Month history. It is not a very long list. So President George H.W. Bush launched the 1,000 Points of Light campaign in 1991 and established April as National Volunteer Month. So let's see how many presidents ago that was. So our last president was Trump. And the president before that was Barack Obama. President before that was George W. Bush, the Jr. So not H.W. Bush. President before that was Bill Clinton. And then the president before Bill Clinton was George H.W. Bush. So yeah, that makes sense, right? So yeah, that makes sense. So it's about 5 presidents ago. And so that's not that long ago. I mean, I was in high school at the time, so this has been around since I was in high school. So that's the history of it. And you especially, are the ones that maintain it and keep it going by having the big hearts that you do and going out and giving the smiles that you do and making sure people get hot food or whatever volunteer service that we're asked to provide. So there are over 1,500 national days. Don't miss a single one. Celebrate every day. Celebrate every day, everybody. Even when you're volunteering, even when it's a tough day of volunteering, you still go out there and you still do it, and you do an amazing job. I know because I've seen it. So, you all rock. Thank you so much for being part of National Volunteer Month. Let's go out there and volunteer some more. All right, I'll see y'all later on.